I'm still learning about all the different parts of turfery.
Turfs are against what?
Surrogacy.
Against surrogacy?
Yeah. Some
Is that a
turfs are really
thing?
against
Really? Is
surrogacy.
that a thing?
I've not heard about it, but I know that there's currently some changes going through our parliament to make it much easier to have a surrogate. And one of the things they're discussing is if a single man doesn't want a partnership, he doesn't want a relationship, but he wants a baby, he should be allowed to have a baby. And that is highly, highly controversial. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
a woman who can't conceive and
Yeah.
isn't in a relationship can go down the route of surrogacy under the procedures and processes we have in place. So the idea is, well, why can't a man? But it's different, I think, for a
But
man because
but really, are you considered a turf?
yes, but I'm considered a child. Thank you. Thank you. I am
Because
considered.
I used to try, I wanted to be a surrogate,
Yeah.
and I thought that that would be
Oh,
a really
really?
good way. Yeah, I thought that that would be a really good way for me to sort of give back.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
used to feel that way. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't. It was I could pick the couple, right? Let's say it was a couple. It doesn't mean this. I guess my point is the idea of surrogacy. We can't reduce it to, oh yes, you're just going to be a surrogate for a gay man, right? That
True.
it's
I
not.
think.
I know there's quite a high profile gay guy who is
No,
currently
not a
going through
high
the.
profile gay guy.
No, I'm
I'm
just
talking
saying
about a
I
couple.
know a guy who, like, we went to school together. I don't really want to name him because turfs
No.
really are
No,
about to go
don't
through
do
him.
that.
But like, there's a program coming out on BBC about like his journey with surrogacy with his partner, with his husband, and that's very in depth about like the surrogate that they're using, and that's all going to be
No,
televised.
but the idea that you're only using a surrogate if you're a gay couple, I mean, there's a lot of very straight couples that need a surrogate. So I wouldn't.
DASG, you've come up as a speaker. Sorry, I didn't say hi. Hi, how are you doing?
So I'm not dead against it, but I think it is a really, really personal matter. And I think obviously the reasons why, people are using surrogacies need to be explored. I probably am against trans people and that kind of area using surrogates. I don't know.
Especially
I
when
think
you
for me,
see someone with moobs breastfeeding a child, you
Oh
know.
God,
yeah,
no, it makes you
that's
sick,
troubling.
absolutely sick.
Yeah, that's absolutely troubling. And I know at the moment there's a couple, a lesbian couple, both of whom feed the child because the one who didn't carry was induced so that she could produce breast milk. And I'm like, why does that not make me uncomfortable? But when it's a trans woman, it does. It's a completely different ball game, and I don't really know why. I just know that it is.
If anyone's like wondering what um the feminist perspective is on why so many people are against surrogacy, um I think the argument goes that it's the potential for exploitation for economically disadvantaged women.
I just missed that because I was in the sitting room. But I think the transfer of kind of DNA and that kind of thing. So the lady that I know who had both her children via surrogacy, it was her egg and his sperm. And she actually had it done in America because they couldn't have it done here. And her children are an absolute spitting image of her. And I mean, I don't know how much they paid, but I think it was a lot. But then it goes back to the fact that are rich people able to exploit it? I mean, she couldn't have children, which was why it was done like that. But obviously there are people out there that are exceedingly rich that can exploit it. And I think that there is a huge element of that, certainly within the gay man community.
So say I do meet someone who can deal with me full time, and me and her get married and decide we want a family and she's gonna carry, we would use my brother's sperm, and that's how most lesbians do it. And that's so well accepted within like lesbian communities. But when we tell other people, when we tell people outside the lesbian community, they're like, "Oh, I don't like it because it feels incestuous, doesn't it?"
No, I'm first hearing this, I'm a bit spooked. So I'd have to go away and think about it and wrap my head around how I would really feel about it. But just hearing you say that, it doesn't give me a good feeling straight
Yeah,
away.
it's weird. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh no!" And then when I actually thought about it, I was like, "Well, I'm not going to be able to give the egg. I'm not going to be able to carry. So, like, I'm going to have a child that, if we ever did break up, that's where my mind went. Like, I'm not related to that child technically, but if the sperm came from within my family, I don't think I'd use a brother. It would be like a cousin or a whatever. Then I'd be related to that child. That child might have my eyes. That child might have my love of reading. I don't know,
It, it's your brothers, if you see what I'm, you know, gatherings or anything
Yeah.
like that. Although, you know, everyone can, no one will say anything, but it must be at the back of your mind or your brother's mind, you know, oh God, that's my child over there.
I'm not sure that getting my brother's sperm that would not be
But like,
ideal for me.
but there you go.
Just
If it was a friend, a guy friend, that would still be like the father would still be in the kid's life, and it would probably end
yeah,
up being
that's
godfather and all of that, and that would be seen as okay, wouldn't it? So why not someone who's even closer to you? Carry on. Finished.
so a trans person, a trans woman is not. I mean, that's just a figment of the imagination.
Exactly. So two men that
That
identified as women.
they don't have that going on. There's no science that would allow that to go on.
Well, that's
That
what
is,
they were saying. They were like, there is going to be the possibility of,
they can say
yeah.
all sorts of things. They've been sailing. They got Area 51 and aliens for the last 30 years. There's no there. That is not happening. It will not happen.
Oh, they were like insistent on it. There wasn't even a single, well, hang on, what are the implications for the woman? Because in their heads, the woman was dead, and they were, they'd been killed in a car
Not,
crash
not,
young, and that uterus was
no.
up for
They,
grabs.
they
And I
can't
was like,
do
hard
it.
no.
There's literally nothing that allow. What will they connect the uterus to?
That's the thing. There was this whole thing about the only downside is that you'd have to incubate, and then the body would be
Yes.
pumped with
No,
the same
it's not.
hormones as a pregnant
No,
woman
no,
naturally
no, no. It's
produces.
not.
And
It's not. That's crazy talk. It's crazy.
yeah, I'm trying to find it now because it was quite a while
Doesn't
ago that this
matter.
happened.
Even if you
But
found
TERFs
it,
hated
even
it.
if you
But
found
TERFs
it,
hated it. Hated it.
even if
But
you found
TERFs
it,
hated it.
if you found it and you sent it to me, that would still be crazy talk. You can
This is
find it.
Frankenstein
That's
stuff,
crazy.
and
Yeah,
it will happen. It will happen because they're pushing the boundaries. So it's just they will just keep experimenting. They will try it, of course they will.
Okay, so as somebody who has had a baby, I'm telling you, there is not going to be any experimental anything that is
There
going.
is. It's already
No,
happened.
but there's not. There's not going to be. There's not going to be anything.
hey
Well, it's
domestic,
hard to
you've come
explain
up.
to somebody who's been through it.
Domestic tea has I'm sure you've got
I'm
some
sure he wants to. He
words.
wants to
No,
come like pound me.
she's got her hand up, so you've been listening for a while. What are your takes on any of the above topics?
Morning, guys. Oh, afternoon.
Morning.
Well, this is some crazy talk I'm hearing today.
What do you think of surrogacy in general?
Hideous.
Talk us through that, because I really want to hear like the TERF perspective on this.
Well, let's remember, EJ, I'm not a TERF. I'm a
Sorry.
Lone Ranger. I don't have
Okay.
any acronyms on me. Sorry, what were we talking about with surrogacy? Why do I think it's beastly? Because children belong with their mother. So I think I've mentioned it in a space with you before, EJ. How if any one of us women, and we need to disregard the fact that you're a lesbian. It really doesn't matter in this. When it comes to being able to, all right, you've got fertility issues. Let's just pick any other woman. Any other woman. It really is irrelevant if she's a lesbian, because she can do exactly what I can do and get pregnant and grow a baby. She can do it. She might not want to do it in that natural way because it's gross to her, but she can, all right? She's got every right to do that because it's her body. If she wants to open her legs, go for it. A baby starts growing. Wow. Now I'm a mum, like whoever you are, lesbian or straight. Men can't do that. So they just don't have a right to a child, yeah? But so there's that, right? That if you can't do it, you can't do it, right? You don't have a right to it. I can't even think of anything that I can't do that men can do right now. I don't think there is anything, but that's not my fault, is it? That's their problem, yeah? I could do something they can't do, and so can you, and all the women in the room. Yeah.
Like, it is really common for lesbians to like be kind of expected. Gay guys will be like, oh yeah, well we'd use one of our lesbian friends to be up, because
That's
they
because they've
understand it, and
brainwashed
then
you.
in turn
They've
we'll give
brainwashed
the
lesbians,
sperm, and it's
right?
all very like, well, no one asked us, and I'm a lesbian. I don't think I could see myself
Just giving a baby
carrying a
to a
child for
couple of
someone.
blokes.
Yeah,
And also,
especially if it was my egg and I was carrying,
but
it would be
also,
like literally giving them my baby.
as a woman, and also as someone who grew up with a mother, yeah, you imagine if someone said, well, you didn't have a right to a mother, or we're just going to take your mum away. Yeah, that's not right. Every child deserves a mother. She might be a piece of shit. Unfortunate things might happen, but nobody should be born with the intent that their mother won't be with them. Sorry. So
Yeah, I've had people say to me though
also a
that
quick
like I
one,
shouldn't be a
EJ.
mother as a lesbian.
A quick one. Well, you can
Go
become
ahead.
a mother. You're a woman. It doesn't matter that you're a lesbian. Just open your legs. Or,
Oh no, it
do
was
you know what I mean?
someone. It was Abundance that was like, no,
Well,
you should never have a
I
child as a
know
lesbian. A
she's mental.
child should be born with with a mother and a father, and to take the father out of the equation is to do a
Well,
disservice. And lesbians shouldn't have children.
you
I did
see,
feel like she was
the argument against
not
that
actually
is
meaning it
that
though.
plenty of straight women go out and get pregnant with no intention of having
Exactly.
a father around. All right, so if I've got
Exactly.
the right to do that, so have you. If a man, nobody knows if he's gay or straight, he's just a man. He goes to the adoption agency and says, can I have a child? What are people going to think? I'd be suspicious. I'd say, no, don't bother coming back. So why is it okay for two men? If one man comes along and says, I want a kid, give it to me now, everyone's going to be like, you fucking weirdo. Absolutely not. So why is it okay for two men? That it's
Good
just
point.
absurd. Like, men,
Good point.
there's a reason that they're
So,
not allowed children, because they're unfortunately prone to sexual deviancy. Every single one of them, gay or
okay.
straight. So one man
But
shouldn't
have
have a
you seen
child.
in the
Two
news?
men shouldn't have children. Do you know what I mean? Society should know better. Most of us do, but we're not the ruling class. The extra thing I can add to that, with what you just told me about these people who commissioned a woman, we, other women, should be telephoning her, writing to her, maybe not making threats, so I won't write, but the rest of you should, to say, how dare you?